What is going on, everybody? Welcome back here today to another NBA Talk style video. Today we will have a double upload. I'm going to be talking about, obviously you read the title or saw the thumbnail, Dennis Smith Jr. being traded, and then later today you guys will see a Knicks franchise. So Adrian Wojciechowski tweeted out yesterday that talks have been heating up in the Dallas Mavericks moving Dennis Smith Jr. either, I guess, at the deadline or right now. The former, 8th overall pick from a year ago, or two, from the 2017 draft. I just want to double check he was the 8th overall pick. 9th overall pick, excuse me. Frank was 8, and I guess Isaac was 7. Oh, no, Markkanen was 7, Isaac was 6. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, Dennis Smith Jr., 9th overall pick from the 2017 draft. He has a career 14.5 points a game average, shooting 33% from 3, 40% from the field, only 4.8 assists. And about a career 30, averaging around 30 minutes a game. Now, the dude's only 21. He has, I believe, 3 more years left of team control. This is an interesting move because, obviously, Dallas' huge draft pick this offseason was Luka Doncic. Now, they have played a total, them two, I guess it's not working for them. I really haven't seen all the Mavericks games to really see the eye test of it. But according to NBA.com, their defensive rating, they played over 600 minutes together, 687 to be exact. Their defensive rating is about 106, and their offensive rating is about 100. It's 105.8 to 100.9. Now, the offensive rating isn't that good. It's not good at all. Like, literally, J.J. Barea and Maxi Kleber have a better offensive rating than those guys. And Wesley Matthews and Maxi Kleber. So you can see they're not really clicking on offense together. Now, their defensive rating isn't horrendous. I mean, it's nothing special, but it's not terrible. Now, if I'm Dallas, I don't know. I wouldn't trade Dennis Smith Jr. I think it's too soon. He's only 21. This is only his second year at Dallas, and he's had a lot of DNPs this year, or injuries that he hasn't just been playing, and he hasn't really been playing a lot. And obviously with the J.J. Barea injury, he would have played a lot more, but it looks like they want to move him. Their idea of their organization is like, let's move Dennis Smith Jr. We're in the Luka Doncic era now. I don't know if this trade, okay, so there was the two suitors in Phoenix and in Orlando. I'm not too sure if they're going to be like, all right, we want picks in return, we want a young player kind of similar to Dennis Smith Jr., or we want like kind of like a win-now type player. I don't know really what their market is for him. Like, say they call Phoenix and they want like TJ Warren, and we all expected them to maybe want Josh Jackson. Or they call Orlando and they want like Nikola Vucevic, or or like Fournier, when we all think they might want Jonathan Isaac or a first or something like that. So I'm going to talk about those two teams today, and I'm also going to talk about maybe a couple other teams that I think could maybe pull the trigger on a Dennis Smith Jr. trade. One that honestly makes a lot of sense, and I'll talk about it actually first, and that's the Boston Celtics involving Terry Rozier and a first in this trade. Now, Terry Rozier's in this contract year, and he started off the year playing really well for the Celtics. Now, it hasn't been nice as of late. They've just been kind of struggling, and obviously with Kyrie Irving, and he's an expiring deal, it's just like they can't play them both at the same time. They just can't, and obviously Terry Rozier could maybe flourish in more minutes, maybe in Dallas, and maybe have better offensive potential there than Dennis Smith Jr. Even though really he's as much of a passer, he's kind of more of like a ball-handling, score-first point guard. But I think hypothetically, the best trade I think Dallas could do here, and it makes sense for both sides, would be to call up Boston and you say, we'll give you Dennis Smith Jr., you give us Terry Rozier and a first-round pick. Now, it might be the Kings' first-round pick, might be the Clippers' first-round pick. If they value Dennis Smith Jr. high enough, maybe they can get that Grizzlies' first-round pick. That's top 8 protected this year, I believe. But it kind of makes sense for both teams because, one, Terry Rozier is a free agent. Boston would have to pay him probably $15 million or something like that. And we're paying guys like Hayward and Horford, and Tatum's going to be up in a couple of years, and they're going to try to bring back Kyrie Irving. They're just not going to really have, and Marcus Smart's making money, and Marcus Morris is a free agent. They're just not going to have this money to throw out Terry Rozier unless they really like him, but it's looking like they're not going to do that. So it would be smart for them to trade him. Now, getting Dennis Smith Jr. is also a good fallback option if Kyrie decides to leave. So say Kyrie Irving is like, I'm done. I want to go to New York. I want to play for the Knicks or Brooklyn, or he goes somewhere else, and he's just done with Boston. Now, you have Dennis Smith Jr. under team control for 3 years, playing on his rookie deal, or 2 years after this year, and on his rookie deal when you can pay him $5 million or $6 million, whatever it is, compared to the $15 you would have to throw at Terry Rozier. So that works out for them, and they also would have to give up a first-round pick, but it kind of makes sense because you're getting a guy on 2 more years of team control for an expiring deal, so you might have to throw in a first-round pick. And also, he was the number 9 overall pick from 2 years ago. So I think that makes sense for both teams, actually, giving up Terry Rozier for Dennis Smith Jr. to swap, and they would throw in a first-round pick. Say it's the Clippers or the Kings, or even if it's their first-round pick, it won't be like a huge first-round pick, like a top 10 pick, but if they could snag like that Grizzlies pick, Dallas, that could be a steal for them. But I think that could be an interesting trade. Now, we can talk about the other two teams, Orlando and Phoenix. Okay, so Phoenix doesn't have... They do have a Milwaukee first-round pick that they could probably entice Dallas in this. Now, if I'm Dallas and I'm calling up Phoenix, because Phoenix does need a point guard, right? They're not like... They're throwing out, like, Devin Booker half the time, or they're playing, like, they have Jawan Evans on roster, like, Okubo, like, Melton's okay, but, like, they need his true point guard. Now, I wouldn't really entice the idea of getting Dennis Smith Jr. and Devin Booker in your backcourt. I just don't think it's really smart to have two kind of ball-dominant players that really aren't the best defenders in the world. I'd rather, honestly, if I'm Phoenix, wait till the draft and try to snag, like, a Ja Morant or wait till free agency, because it's a pretty decent free agency class for point guards. So, but if they're going to entice a trade here, I would say you can build a deal around either Bridges or Jackson and that Milwaukee pick. I obviously don't think Phoenix will be giving up any of their picks anytime soon, unless it's like a 2023 top lottery protection. But yeah, because they're going to be bad this year and probably next year once they get a game-changing player in the draft. So I would say Josh Jackson has to be in this trade and a first. Because even though they were in the same... Actually, I don't know, because Josh Jackson was the 4th overall pick in that draft, and Dennis Smith Jr. was the 9th, and they both kind of... Well, Dennis Smith Jr., I don't really think is disappointed. I just don't think Dallas likes him. Like, he had a good rookie year. He had, like, a really solid rookie year. I mean, he didn't really shoot great from the field, but he put up, like, numbers in his rookie year, which is just what you want to see. You don't want to see kind of like Frank Ntilikina's rookie numbers. You kind of want to see more of like Dennis Smith Jr.'s rookie numbers. But if they're going to do that, maybe the Milwaukee picking Josh Jackson if Dennis Smith Jr., like, I don't know. I'm not a GM. I don't know what their values are exactly on the market, on who has more value with Jackson or Dennis Smith Jr., both for 21, both from the same draft class, both have kind of, I think Jackson's disappointed a lot more. So say if they can get Josh Jackson and a first out of it, that's a good trade. Because Harrison Barnes has, what, 1 year after this year. And if he can kind of mold into something, because you really can't give up on players just yet. Like, look at Noah Vonleh in the Knicks. The dude is, what, 24, 23? He's had 5 really bad years in the NBA, or like not top 10 numbers like he should have, or top 10 pick numbers like he was drafted in the top 10 a couple years ago, and now he's playing really well for the New York Knicks. So you got to give these guys time. They got to kind of force in the right system. So maybe Josh Jackson needs like just a culture change, and him and Dallas would work out, and Dennis Smith Jr. could ball out with Devin Booker. I don't know, but I don't know. I think that could be something. But if I'm Phoenix, I'm trying to see if like Ja Morant's the option, or like there's plenty of good guys at free agency. You got that, or that might be tradable in the offseason. Now, I don't think they're going to go for Bledsoe or Dragic because they played on the Suns before. But there's guys like Kemba Walker, like I said, Ja Morant. There'll be a D'Angelo Russell out there. There'll be some guys that will be like a Terry Rozier. There'll be other guys on the market that you would have to give up an asset for. But yeah, if I'm Phoenix, I would do something, I guess, around Josh Jackson. That's what I can predict. Now, if we're going to go over to the Magic side of things, another team that needs a point guard desperately, I guess them and Phoenix are the two teams in the NBA that really need a point guard. So I don't think Dallas is going to have a high enough draft pick to get Ja Morant. I don't really see Ja Morant going out of the top 6. And they're going to probably end up with like somewhere around like 7 to 11 in the draft, as they are 19 and 24. And I don't know. If I'm them, like if Dallas calls up and they want Nikola Vucevic, I do that. If they want Evan Fournier, I do that. If they want Jonathan Simmons and Terrence Ross, I do that. If they want any of your kind of 3 young guys that you're trying to build around, Isaac, Gordon, or Bamba, I'm really hesitant. Obviously, Bamba and Gordon are kind of untouchable to them in a Dennis Smith Jr. trade. Jonathan Isaac, a guy who hasn't really performed the best in his career. He's a career average 6.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, less than an assist, about a steal and a block a game. He's a good defender. It's just he hasn't really showed any potential on the offensive side at all. Kind of how Ntilikina has been. So if you really like Dennis Smith Jr. and you're gonna do something like Isaac, who is what, the 6th overall pick in that same draft, so kind of like talking about Josh Jackson, Isaac same draft, 3 picks before Dennis Smith. If you're gonna do like a straight up swap Isaac for him, I would actually really like to see Isaac in Orlando play with Luka and DeAndre Jordan. I think that would be really good for him. Just I don't think playing around Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic is the best for Isaac. Or even like I kind of like would not mind playing Isaac at the 5 sometimes because he is 6'10", kind of how like Dallas or Memphis is doing with Jaren Jackson Jr. It just sucks. He's not really somebody that can spread the floor. He's a career 30% from 3 and he shoots about 40% from the field. He does take about 2 threes a game, but makes like less than 1 of them. So I would say Isaac is somebody maybe if I'm Dallas, I would want in a return for Dennis Smith Jr. or maybe their first round pick this year. If they're going to be like, all right, you know what, we're Orlando. It's not really a good point guard draft outside of John Moran. Like, there's guys like a Darius Garland or Jalen Hands, but, like, they don't see them being as good as Dennis Smith Jr. Maybe you trade away your first-round pick for Dennis Smith Jr. A couple years ago, the 12th overall pick in the draft, I think that the Jazz had, or the Hawks, I think it was the Jazz, ended up getting George Hill. At the time, that's kind of a steal. So if you're going to give up, like, the 11th or 10th pick here, maybe the 11th pick for Dennis Smith Jr., unprotected, they do, I would do that. Or, like, maybe throw a top 3 protection or top 5 protection, unless you do, like, you fall off for the rest of the year. I would not mind doing your 11th pick in the draft for Dennis Smith Jr. because he's 21, he's got 2 years of team control. Then that gives off one of your needs for the offseason. And you have a nice core of Dennis Smith Jr., Isaac Gordon, and Bamba for the future because I hope they let Vucevic walk. There's no need to bring him back when you have Mo Bamba. You just spent, what, the 5th pick on him, 6th pick, whatever he was in the 2018 draft. So, and then you have a future because obviously 48 is under contract for a little bit longer. So you would have a Dennis Smith Jr., 48, Gordon, Isaac, Bamba, 75. Pretty good defense on the front court, pretty weak defense in the back court. But that's what I can see Orlando doing. I don't really see them parting ways with Jonathan Isaac. It's just that maybe, talking about Phoenix, they would part ways with Josh Jackson just because they have Mikal Bridges and they have TJ Warren. They have wings. It's not like Josh Jackson's their only wing. But like Orlando, outside of Jonathan Isaac, who are you looking at the 4 spot? Like, besides Aaron Gordon, obviously, but he's already a starter. Emil Jefferson, Jarrell Martin, Wesley Iwundu. There's just not that many good options. So, I could see them moving maybe their first-round pick this year for Dennis Smith Jr., which honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Orlando if they could find, like, a defensive-minded shooting guard in the offseason. Now, I don't really see any other team really being in play for Dennis Smith Jr. I doubt Miami would really be in play. Like, Charlotte, obviously, with Kemba Walker, I still don't think that Dennis Smith Jr. would be the answer there. Wizards do need a point guard, like, because John Wall's hurt, but they're not going to do that, obviously. Hawks got Trae Young, Bulls got Chris Dunn, and Cavs got Sexton. I'm just looking at teams. Obviously, people are going to bring up the Knicks like they always do. They won't do that. Obviously, they're going to roll with Neil Keenan and Moutier for the rest of the year. Sadly, Moutier. Yeah, so I really don't see any other team really making a move for Dennis Smith Jr. besides the Suns, Magic, and the Celtics. Dennis Smith Jr. would obviously be a bench piece. He'd be like the 6th, 7th, whatever man. Probably the 7th man because Hayward's the 6th man. And the Suns and Magic, he would probably start right away. So, and those two teams have the assets. People say Clippers, but like, you have Shai Gilgeous. Spurs would be interesting, but what do the Spurs really have to offer? Because Murray's hurt. Like, what are you going to offer? I really don't know. You're going to offer a first-round pick and Jakob Poeltl. Like, they really don't have assets to get Dennis Smith Jr. So, I really just see it being Orlando, Phoenix, and Boston. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up my Dennis Smith Jr. talk video. So, if you guys enjoyed, I would appreciate just dropping a like on this video. Maybe encourage me to do more NBA talk videos, kind of a double uploads like this. Like I said, you guys are going to see a Knicks franchise video out later today. It's actually the playoffs, so if you want to tune in, it's our first time. Knicks are making the playoffs since 2013, so that'll be really fun. So, yeah, let me know what you think or where you think Dennis Smith Jr. could go in the comments, and give me a trade. Say, like, Matt, I think he's going to go to the Suns, and I think they're going to give up Mikal Bridges on the Bucks pick, or something like that. Just throw me that idea in the comment section below. So thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.